Welcome back to the channel. Starting the day off, warming my truck up. It is the first big snow in Colorado, and there is a lot of snow. I think it snowed probably a foot last night, and just gonna go over to the shop, back over to the body shop. In the last video, I got all the sheet metal work finished. What I'm gonna be doing in this video is actually, well, Josh is also gonna be helping me, but going to be getting all this skimmed with some Duraglass, body filler. Also need to get some of these low spots pulled up with a stud gun, and just got all of these ground down, pulled the hatch off and finished welding that up there. That was one of the big things that I was kind of missing because the hatch was on there. I couldn't get in there to actually weld it. Welded those, ground them down, got it all ready. So what really needs to happen first is probably getting this red paint off, which a lot of people were talking about, that they're like, there's too many different colors and the red's just kind of throwing it off. So probably gonna sand this down all the way to bare metal, and then maybe even sand this down pretty far. The one reason why I'm doing that to both of them is because when I used my inductor to pull the glass windows out, it just kind of heated up too hot, and I knew I was going to repaint the car, so I wasn't too worried about it, but it just kind of bubbled the paint. So I don't want to have any issues later on down the road with the new paint peeling up or anything like that. So I'll just sand all this down. Also on the inside, is Duraglass, and I started doing a little bit of filler here and there. I actually got the door pretty straight. I'm gonna skim it one more time and block it out, but when I first did it, I had the piece of the mirror on there, which was kind of messing me up right here, so I ended up pulling it off. So next time I skim it, I'll be able to shape that a little bit better. I kind of was pushing down at the bottom with the block because there was the mirror there. So other than that, it is pretty much where it needs to be, and it doesn't really have that much filler on it. And over here, when I Duraglassed everything, well, me and Josh Duraglassed everything, pretty much was just a waterproof stuff and just kind of even it out a little bit. Duraglass has fiberglass in it, so it's a little bit stronger and it's waterproof. That just kind of helps out with all those welds, just covering them up so they don't, no water ingresses into them and later on, rust them or anything like that, which I'm gonna paint all this stuff. I just wanted to prevent it. And I did pretty much everything with the Duraglass. So in here, I also had the, we did the whole door frame, and I already started putting some filler on the inside of the, where I grafted the two pieces of metal together, and that was really nice because now it's nice and smooth. But gonna start working on the roof rails because that is really the main part of this, what I want to get done today, and get them kind of in their infant stages, because it is going to be quite a bit of work. There isn't going to be much filler. I actually, where's it at? So there's this right here. This is a piece of PVC pipe, and I rolled that across it, and I mean, there's literally, you can see just a hair right there. So there's just going to be a hair of filler there, and it looks like just probably a hair right here as well. So this is really nice. This is something Josh uses as a piece of PVC pipe, so it flexes a little bit, but not too much. It still has its stiffness, and it's round. So when you're going in contours like this, it makes it really nice because you can really get a nice long block on it, which it has a little bit of curvature to it. So let's get to getting the first skims on both these sides and just kind of go from there. And really the front piece up to here really doesn't need anything, and then back here it's not going to need too much, but to get a car very, very smooth, even smoother than they come from the factory, you have to add a little bit of filler. Me and Josh got the rails and a bunch of other stuff pretty close on the Magnum, so you can see that body line around the door frames, and it's just perfect. But what I also started on was making the roof, or just kind of mocking the roof up. I started cutting it here and there. So I used the front charger piece. I need to fill in this sunroof hole because I'm not gonna use a sunroof. And what I have to do, the rear piece is the Magnum skin. And what I need to do is actually put a V on it. So on the Magnums, they have this kind of drip rail and it has that piece of black trim in there. And everybody that has a Magnum knows that those things just peel up. They're a nightmare. They never look good, even if you put a nice coat of clear and paint on them. And they always just get all warpy and weird looking. So that's the reasoning behind me doing this V all the way down. And then just, I'm gonna glue the composite roof in and then just pretty much run sheet metal screws along the front of it when I glue it down, and then I'll pull them back out, and then they'll be 100% bonded on there. Not have to worry about anything. It won't have that weird little drip rail thing, which I'm happy about. I really didn't want it on there just because they always look so bad. The one on my Hellcat, it's factory, and it's kind of warpy. It just gets kind of weird when they sit in the sun. They just don't look good. So yeah, we'll have pretty much the roof skin is going very, very quick. I already kind of knew the plan of attack, and then once I get everything pretty much mated together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bunch of panel bond in between the Magnum skin and the Charger skin, glue them together, and then I'll have to pretty much weld some of this in there because I just had to cut it to make it go straight, because on the Chargers it actually goes pretty far in and then it comes pretty far out at the end. So to make that straight, I just put a few relief cuts, and then I'll just put some tacks on there and pretty much put a lot of filler on this thing just to make it 100% smooth. Go with the rails, make it nice and round, and then just kind of go from there. Once everything, it's probably gonna weigh a lot. I'll probably weigh it after I make the mold, but I'm gonna say maybe 50 to 75 pounds after all the filler and everything's on it, and paint, etc. That's why I want to do a composite roof as well. But yeah, it'll just be really nice to have this mold made, even just having the sheet metal piece made before I make the mold, and then I can get everything off of here, and then I can finish up these rails. That's really what I was waiting for. We pretty much got these 100% where they need to be, and just want to have the roof skin 100% before we finish these up, as well as starting the hatch. So in the next video, I need to make the hatch, probably end up gluing this roof skin and probably getting it pretty close to finalizing it. Maybe do some body work and stuff on that, and just kind of go from there, because once the hatch is done, I can pretty much get these rear quarters and the trunk kind of lined up, and then I can get the hatch 100% situated, just so when I make a mold of that, it's all good to go. Because once I have those two, the roof skin and the hatch done, I can pretty much get the whole rest of the body ready to go, primed, painted, and it could just be, you know, ready for the doors. I could paint the doors, I could paint the bumpers, I could paint the side skirts. Really just what I'm waiting for is doing the roof skin and the hatch, and all I need to do is get the molds for those made before I paint the car. So I probably, before I paint the car, I need to have the roof skin done, because I want to glue the roof skin down, then paint pretty much up to that seam, since I'm going to panel bond it and then clear all over the whole thing, just so it makes it 100% waterproof, and I don't have to worry about water getting in there, because the old hatch, or the old roof skin, was actually rusty, so that'll prevent a lot of rust or any water getting behind the roof skin. And because it'll be composite, I shouldn't have to worry about that. And I will put seam sealer around everything like it was originally. But I need to head home. A package arrived. I'm pretty excited. I want to see it. And I think you guys want to see it as well. So let's go head over to my house and check out what came. Home from the shop now, unpack the package that came in the mail. And before I show you what is in these boxes, I have to say that this is the best packaging that I have seen in a long time. And I'm very, very surprised. So what I have here is some front upper control arms for a Trackhawk. So this is what I needed for the Charger, and I have to say that this is some nice machine work. These things are just amazing. So just the packaging, I mean, they're just in there nice and foam. You don't have to worry about them coming damaged, the anodizing being chipped. I mean, I've bought a lot of suspension components over the years, and this is probably the only ones that I've ever gotten in foam and that I've gotten undamaged. So these are just so nice. The machining's nice. They have instructions. Most of the stuff you get doesn't have instructions, so it tells you exactly what you need to know, and then it tells you what all the shims do and all the adjustments. So it comes with shims, and that is just amazing to me. So these are for a Trackhawk. So what I'm doing, if you haven't paid attention to the videos, is I'm using all of the suspension and drivetrain from an 18 Plus Trackhawk. I reached out to AAD Performance and Black Ops Auto Works. Link is in the description. Go check them out. These are probably the nicest control arms you can get for a Trackhawk. Also, they make stuff for any SRT vehicle, Chargers, Challengers. I'm just using Trackhawk suspension because that's for the drivetrain that I'm putting, and I needed the upper control arms because mine were burnt. Also, I want them to be adjustable. So I got the upper front, and then we have the caster, or no, the toe. Yeah, maybe, no, toe and camber for the rear on the Trackhawk. So those are just as good quality, packaged just as well. I mean, I didn't have to, when I opened the package, I wasn't expecting that they were gonna be so well wrapped. Most of the time when I have stuff shipped, I'm really cringing what I'm gonna get. If you guys order these, you don't have to worry about it. So they do make a bunch of other stuff, not just suspension components. They make supercharger tensioners, they make breathers, and all kinds of other stuff. So just check them out. Links are in the description. And yeah, I'm just happy to have these. I will be starting the videos for building the subframes and stuff coming up once all the body work is finished. And we are getting very close to actually having primer on the car. I was really happy to have, you know, get the roof kind of situated on there. And what I was talking about, if you look, so here is the Challenger one, and it's just rubber. I mean, you can see back here, I mean, it's not too bad, but if you can look right there, it has a little tiny indentation. Same there, they're just rubber. I didn't want those on the Charger Magnum, so, or the Charger station wagon, but yeah, I'm just really happy that I got those. We'll be using those in a video to come, and they'll be on the car. So yeah, it's just gonna be really exciting to get all that stuff together. I'm just really happy that a lot of the major body work is now done. I'm gonna make the hatch in the next video, finish up the roof, get the quarters all skimmed, primed, and just kind of go from there. But yeah, this is gonna end the video. If you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below, share this with your friends. As always, see you guys next time.